Hey guys, what's happening? Thanks for tuning in to Let There Be Talk. Today is November 21st. It's a Thursday, and this is a special bonus episode of Let There Be Talk. Sometimes I like to do bonus episodes, a little give back to the people. I wanted to do this episode today mostly because I wanted to raise some awareness on the Wounded Warrior project that Bill Burr and Al Magical are doing today. Tune in to Laughster.com. Laughster.com. They're having a garage sale, and they're going to donate the money to the Wounded Warrior project. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there. There's going to be comedy memorabilia, signed CDs, t-shirts, laminates, posters. Weird shit, man, you can bid on. I donated some cool stuff. Check it out. I got a Cheech and Chong poster on there, some CDs, a couple of weird Stones laminates, stuff like that. Check it out. That's going to be all day today. I think it's all day today, November 21st. Bill Burr and Al Magical from All Things Comedy, which is, of course, the network I'm on, allthingscomedy.com. Check it, Laughster.com. Support the Wounded Warrior Project. All right? Got that out of the way. One more thing. If you do live in LA area, don't spend Thanksgiving alone. Come down to the Laugh Factory. Every year, Laugh Factory feeds friends and people that don't have families around town. All kinds of different situations, you know? Come down to the Laugh Factory and spend Thanksgiving with me. I'll be there serving food and telling jokes. It's all day during the day. So if you live in the Los Angeles area, do not spend Thanksgiving alone. Come down and join us and have some fun. Let me get into the episode today. I got a good friend named Mark Ellis. He's a comedian, paid regular at the Comedy Store, extremely funny. I love the guy. He has a great movie review site called Schmoes Know. It's on YouTube. Maybe you know about it. He's got a great podcast, Schmoes Know. He reviews films every week, and we both love rock and roll. So we decided, let's have our favorite soundtracks. Let's talk about them. Let's pick our favorite soundtrack on Let There Be Talk. So that's what we did. Not scores. Scores are cool, of course, but this is soundtracks. Find out what I picked. What's your favorite one? I'm sure we missed a bunch, you know, we're just fucking shooting the shit on the couch. But let us know what your favorite one is. Tweet at us. Mark Ellis coming right here. He's going to talk movies, touring with John Caparulo, his new comedy CD, and of course, soundtracks. Here we go. Get ready. Enjoy the ride, and thanks for all your support, guys. Loving it. Hope you like that Johnny episode. A little reggae, a little drugs, a little gardening. That covered everything. I'm still in San Fran. I'm in San Fran a few more days if you tuned in. I'm doing some shows at the Punchline with Dom Irera. Yeah, I headlined last night, and now I'm staying and going to feature for Dom Irera, so stop by if you didn't make it last night to the Punchline. One last thing before I turn on the episode. Don't forget about our new sponsor, McGuire Harley Davidson. Yeah! Delrays, if you're looking for parts for your Harley Davidson and you live in the Bay Area, you need someone to wrench on your bike or new tires or riding gear, whatever, go down to McGuire Harley Davidson, the only Harley Davidson dealership in Contra Costa County. I just got some parts for my bike, man. I love it. They're a family-owned dealer. That's cool, man. Family in the Harley business. How cool is that? Can you imagine? Like, yeah, we own Harley. That's super cool. Anyway, they're a family-owned dealer. They're going to do you right. Go in and say, hey, I'm a Delray, and they'll hook you up. Head on down to McGuire's. They'll take care of your Harley needs. Also, they're online, McGuire-HD.com. Look them up or find them on Facebook. McGuire Harley Davidson. Love it. That's my Harley. It sounds like a dog. Anyway, here we go. Mark Ellis. We talk rock and roll soundtracks. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, All Things Comedy. Here we go. Enjoy the ride. Hey, what's happening? Another episode of Let There Be Talk. I got a great guest today, Mr. Mark Ellis from Schmoes Knows, and also comedian friend of mine from the Comedy Store regular.
Thank you, sir. I've actually come to your place to collect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have an album that you said you'd give to me a long time ago.
I do. Which one was it?
It was the 5150.
I got it right here.
Is it here?
It's here. Do not let me forget.
Because if you've never had the privilege of taking the tour of Dean's Pad, this place is, it's a temple of rock and all things. There's like AC/DC and Led Zeppelin on the wall. Like, if hell had a waiting room, this would be the place that
this is Satan's den.
Yeah, this is where he goes to have a brandy after a hard day of slave driving demons.
Welcome in, you fools.
This place is fantastic.
It's made for drugs and rock.
I mean, we're looking at the hood of a car. We're looking at the hood of a car.
This goddamn hood has been on like 15 episodes. It's part of it's my podcast side host.
Look, I've done a lot of podcasts, and I've never done one with the hood of a car.
It's a fucking Chevy. Let me tell you what it is.
Let me guess. It looks like it's definitely something American.
Oh, yeah.
They don't make these in Asia. They don't make these this size in Asia. It looks like something that Burt Reynolds wished he had in Smokey and the Bandit.
Well, there's no bird on it, which is a bummer. If it had a bird on it, if it was actually a Trans Am hood, I would keep it in here. How dope would a Trans Am hood be in my hut?
Are you giving this away?
Let me tell you what that is. Earl Skakel, who
great comic.
Sometimes comes on and does the Coke party with me. He has a Dodge Magnum 2007. He got a new hood that has a snorkel on it. You know, like a hood scoop.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, I know you're hurting on cash. I'll bring this hood by, and you can sell it on Craigslist." So I go, "Fuck yeah, that'll work." I look it up. They're $1,200 new. I put it on Craigslist, $400. This fucking thing's been here 4 months, 5 months now.
You can't get anybody to buy a hood?
I had a guy hit me up and goes, "I'll give you $200. I go, "Get over here now." He never showed.
Wow.
It's the curse of Craigslist.
Dude, I've never tried to sell anything on Craigslist. I got my apartment, my old apartment I got off Craigslist.
Yeah, I got this off of Craigslist, this place I live in, yeah. But I sell a lot of shit on Craigslist and eBay. I start eBay for the good stuff, and just the shitty stuff, it goes to Craigslist.
So Craigslist is kind of like the minor league ball. It's like if you can't cut it in the majors on eBay, then that's where Dean sells hoods and couches and occasionally his body for sex.
I have these couches on there right now, too, because these things are nice, but they seem to be uncomfortable.
They're not. I mean, it's very waiting office material.
Yeah.
But it's sense. I get the sense of IKEA. And you tell me if I'm out of line calling your furniture IKEA. Because I have an IKEA. I actually have a red IKEA couch.
Yeah.
It splits in two. So it's just like one monster couch that you can just pretty much do nothing with. It goes with absolutely nothing.
You do any fucking on that couch?
I've done some monster cuddling on that couch.
You can't fuck on these couches. Look at them.
You know why? Because I put it together. So if we get grinding, it's going to break. Like, nothing says the relationship's over like when you break a couch because you're not fucking right.
You got roommates?
I don't anymore, no.
Oh, good. How old are you?
I am 33 years old. And when I first moved to L.A., I lived with, like, my best friend from high school. I slept on his couch.
Yeah.
But he had at least had a pull-out. So I could, sleep on the bed, and then, he'd go to work, and I'd stay sleeping for another 5 hours, sleeping off the 3 open mics I did the night before.
Yeah, just living the dream.
Oh, absolutely. Then we got like a 2-bedroom place, and then we did that for a year, and then I moved into the Craigslist apartment, and that was my first experience living by myself, and I have not looked back since, because I'm no longer in the Craigslist apartment, thank goodness, but that one, it was about as big as your living room, and that was the whole apartment, but it had a secret benefit because you would go into the closet, and the closet was so big that I could fit my twin bed into the closet.
You sleep in there?
I slept in the closet.
That's what I do, man. If
for 3 years.
You're up on blow all night, you need that chamber, that vampire's lair.
It was really nice because then when people broke in, they didn't know anybody was home. And like when a bullet came through the window, it wouldn't hit you.
You'd just be out there like, finish up and then get out.
Yeah, just that they already got the TV last week. I think there's a laptop that you can have. There's
what neighborhood
there's a car hood. Steal the car hood.
What neighborhood was that in?
It was right down the street from you. It was Cahuenga.
Oh, right.
So you are Dean lives in a place now that I just found out that is like kind of windy up the hills. So you are moving on up, as the Jeffersons say.
Well, I've been here 9 years, and each month I wonder how I'm going to make the rent.
I'll tell you how you make the rent. Look at the walls. If you have to make the rent, you just put, not
That's
the car
what's going
hood,
on.
but you have like a classic Zeppelin painting, and you have all these classic vinyl albums.
That's
and
what's
these
going
books
on.
and stuff like this, skateboards. You have stuff that you could either donate it and give some poor kid the best rock and roll 1973 Christmas ever.
Yeah.
Or you can make some money off eBay. That's what I'm going to do when I go home to my mom's house, because I have some old like collectible stuff that's stored in my closet.
Fuck yeah, that shit sells.
I'm going to put it on eBay, and I'm going to not worry about paying my rent for the next 2 years.
Well, let me tell you what I did. About 5 years ago, I sold everything I had, including like these belt buckles I have up here. I have some Zeppelin belt buckles and stuff.
Yeah.
Then I got some money, rebought the stuff. Now I'm fucking selling it again. I'm I'm chasing the tail.
It's a never-ending cycle.
It is like I did a movie and I go, ooh, I got some money now and career's taken off, and I re-backed up my collection that I didn't have, and now I'm fucked again.
It's the Mickey Rourke thing. You're a boxer and you become an actor, and then you get successful at acting. You're like, I'm going to go back to boxing.
Fuck.
And
Hollywood is boxing. You got to have your arms up at all times. You're getting punched in the face.
You really do, and it comes from all angles now, because I think there's a generation of actors. It's like you look at what happened, like Mel Gibson or Michael Richards. They just don't understand when stuff goes viral. That stuff doesn't go away.
It doesn't.
Like Mel Gibson was the most famous movie star in the world. At the turn of the century.
Even the Last Temptation of Christ, he was still
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ.
The Christ movie.
Yeah. He was still on the ropes there. But
and then just
he wasn't in it though.
He wasn't in it, and he wasn't in Apocalypto. But that damage had already been done, and now he's probably living where I used to live on Cahuenga.
Michael Richards, I just saw, is going to be on a new TV show with Rhea Perlman.
Oh yeah, Michael Richards is the driver.
Yeah, which is strange. It's really weird. It's really weird to see him on a billboard, and it's got what's her name from Cheers, who I love. Kate, what's her name? The one that was on Dancing with Stars.
Oh yeah, Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley.
She was hot back in her Cheers.
Oh, I loved her in
Look
Cheers.
Who's Talking run was pretty. She was pretty.
That's
hot
kind of a Delray style chick there.
What is the girl you can make a baby that talks like Bruce Willis?
No, I like her look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was hot, and she had. I know why you like her, because you're a rocker, and you're like you get attracted to raspy voices, whether it's coming out of a Steven Tyler on a stage or a Kirstie Alley on your IKEA couch. You want a raspy voice chick.
I didn't like Shelley Long on Cheers at all. Fuck her. They're just a skanky little blonde lady. Like, get out of here.
She was too Susie Homemaker for you.
I like weird women. I like, what's her name?
Not like Carla from Cheers, weird. But
no, but what's the homemaker lady that's rich that got busted on her tax or inside trading?
Martha Stewart.
Yeah, I like Martha Stewart.
Dean.
You know who else I like?
Martha Stewart would freak out. If she came to this apartment, she might have to make some changes.
She'd be like, uh-oh. I also like Kate Sawyer. Is that her name? Yeah.
Kate's okay.
Yeah,
all right.
She's hot.
Yeah.
But then I like Kelly Osbourne. Or I like
she looks a lot better now.
She looks great.
Every time I see her, it's like, oh, she tweaked this. She had a lot of tweaks to do.
Yeah.
And she's been doing it.
But I like her in the old days too, like on the Osbournes.
I can't live with a manic chick.
I like weird I don't like manic chicks. I'm saying I like weird, strange looking chicks. Now we were just talking about Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Who's a fucking knockout.
Yeah, I thought I was the movie guy, but you were giving me a little bio of Jennifer Lawrence that not even I was aware, because I knew her as far back as Winter's Bone.
Right.
And then obviously she's gone on to be the Hunger Games star and Silver Linings Playbook, but what was the name
Burning Plain.
Burning Plain with Charlize Theron and Kim Basinger.
Yep, and my boy...
John Corbett.
John Corbett, who sings country and was doing one of my songs for a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Met him at the Falcon back when I used to DJ.
Yeah.
John Corbett dates the girl from 10.
Bo Derek?
Bo Derek. They've been together for like 9 years. They live in Santa Barbara.
Bo Derek's not...
She's like 60.
She's like 70.
Yeah, she looks good.
She's 10 times 7.
Been his lady forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty wild.
She went from Brian Dennehy and Tommy Boy to your boy John Corbett.
Yeah, and he just disappeared. Like, I used to see him all the time in Hollywood. Then he started dating her, and he moved out there and never saw him again. And then he started playing country music.
Cougars will make you happy, I guess,
Yeah, cougars fuck.
Yeah, maybe he just leaves his sedentary lifestyle. Maybe he just loves being in that retirement home with her so much. He loves dominating the golf course. And
he's probably like, I'm tired of Hollywood. I made it.
Yeah, I'm hustling.
But how does she have money, you think?
Bo Derek?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Those posters sold a lot.
I know, but you don't think she got any of that money, do you?
She must have seen. She might have been the first one to be like, I want a cut of that poster.
Boy, if she did, that's fucking gold mine.
I'd take a Bo Derek fat head in my apartment.
Yeah, you go Bo Derek. I was never a Bo Derek guy.
Yeah, but when you were a kid and you went to the video store, that was one of the reasons I was so bummed that Blockbuster was closing the remaining 300 stores, is because that's your childhood closing down, is what that is.
I was just talking about that with somebody where the romance, I think, of dating is over now. As far as like, because the two, you're on like, say, a fourth date, not a first date.
Yeah.
And you go down and it's like, oh, she's going to maybe stay at the house tonight or something.
Yeah.
You go down to Blockbuster, you pick the movie together, you're looking at the boxes, you're laughing, you're having fun, right? And then you go home and you watch it, you commit to watching it.
Yeah.
Now, Netflix, you just go, come over and watch Netflix. You already look like a cheap bastard. And as soon as it sucks, you just go, it's like iTunes. You just go to the next one. There's no commitment. You didn't drive down there. So if it's no good, you're out,
and
right?
It's a harbinger of the whole relationship is no commitment. I used to do a bit that it was so early I couldn't even dust it off and put it on my record that I did. Yeah. I just had to leave it, be. It was that I would go to Blockbuster on Friday nights to hit on girls, because if you were a girl by yourself at Blockbuster on Friday, you probably just got dumped.
Yep.
You were wounded and you needed some dirty dancing, some ice cream.
Dirty dancing.
And that's what Blockbuster had. And so, you go there. But when I was a kid, I remember going to Video Update, because our town was too small to have, a Blockbuster. So we had a Video Update. Williamsburg, Virginia.
Oh, right on.
So, and we'd go to Video Update. They had 2 locations. One was a lot better than the other one. And we went in, and Bo Derek 10 was just right there, because it was alphabetical order. And so numbers were first. And so you'd see 10, just these huge boobs on the cover, and you're like, God, I wonder what that looks like in your face.
Yeah, Are you a boob man? I am.
Yeah, I'm a boob man.
Some guys aren't. I have them on the couch here. They're like, yeah.
Well, I don't care the size. I just like the fact that they're there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, most women have them, right?
Yeah, I like that they differentiate a woman from a man.
Yeah.
I prefer boobs to pecs, Dean.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, my boobs are pretty good, man.
You have nice.
I got about a B cup.
Nice little tits you got on you, Dean. But you got all these tattoos, and you have that raspy voice that's just not my speed. So
yeah, all right, damn
it. This podcast and our friendship is as far as it's going to go.
Damn it.
You made a play.
You've been out with Caparillo recently, right? You toured with John Caparillo?
Yeah.
One of my favorite comedians. He's fantastic.
I've been having a really fun year on the road, because I've headlined 10 on my own now, and then I've been featuring for Cap. I think we'll probably end up doing 20, 25 dates this year. Just got back from being in Tampa with him. Yeah, and he's, for my money, he's the best. He's the best comic working right now. I just think he's so... I always thought he was so good. He helped me get my job at the Comedy Store when I was out here, because he started the store too.
Yep.
And then we just kind of became friends, just shooting the shit, talking football and all that stuff on the porch. So it's like him and Renazizi and Simone and my buddy who I do the Schmoes No Show with, Christian Harloff. Like, when those guys were all at the store working, I'm like, that's what I want to be like.
Right.
I just want to get the T-shirt.
Yeah.
I had small goals, Dean. I just wanted to get that Comedy Store, the Hollywood T-shirt.
Well, that's the goal.
Then I can quit. Then I can retire.
I bought mine. I bought a shirt. I didn't know when I was like the first week at the store. I go, the shirts are cool. I bought one. I didn't know they were the employee shirts.
Yeah.
And then I never wore it again, because I was down there. I was like, this is their uniform.
You got to earn that shirt, Delray.
I didn't even know. So I put it in my closet, and then I'm glad I kept it, because for a long time they didn't have shirts.
Yeah. The Comedy Store runs out.
And I was kind of
merch.
like, ooh, this is a collector's item. Like, I got Comedy Store shot glasses, some buttons, stickers, and the shirt. You know?
I have about 10 game worn shirts in my closet somewhere that are just dying to be Christmas presents.
Well, I started wearing mine when we had the softball team.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Yeah.
And I brought, because, that was our original Comedy Store basketball jerseys were just the cut-off sleeves of the Comedy Store work shirt. Yeah. And then the one I'm wearing now, because I have a game later on
That's
tonight,
actually dope.
Is, I wear my Comedy Store mesh jersey everywhere. That's the real thing. But then before that, it was, so those were our softball jerseys and our basketball jerseys. Because, again, like, being in the Comedy Store, it's such a cool fraternity to be a part of. You never want it to end. So even when you're not doing stand-up, you still want to represent the colors.
Oh, I do.
Let's go out. Let's play softball. Let's play dodgeball.
Yep.
Let's do basketball. Whatever we can do and make it competitive and fun. It's just these are the people that you hang out with now, because these are the guys who they have the same career as you. They have the same goals, but they also have the same kind of warped mind that you do.
They do.
So it's fun to kind of hang out with that cut of people.
Yeah, I was just at the in Vegas doing 14 shows.
At the Laugh Factory, right?
Yeah, and man, a lot of people like to get out on the road and disappear. I'm cool. I used to do that with rock and stuff. But man, I was out on the road. But
which are the stories that we really want to hear? Because and maybe rock stars like to hear stories about comics, but since we've been comics for so long, it's like, oh, nobody wants to hear our boring comedian backstage stories. We want to hear about what it was like to tour with these bands, but I guess it goes both ways.
It does,
you know?
but I mean, I was missing the store while I was in Vegas. People were like, yeah, Vegas. And I'm like, yeah, this is wild, but you want wild. You hit Sunset Strip at the store on a Saturday night, man. It's fucking lunacy.
That's the eye of the storm, too. But you're right. It's like if the stand-up world is like a game of tag, right? Yep. When you're a kid, you're playing tag. There's base. And nobody can tag you there. And that's just where you kind of hang out until you're ready to go back out and venture again. The Comedy Store is base.
Yeah, like, look, I've been gone 14 shows. I'm going to go there tonight instead of sleeping.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, right? Exactly. It's like, well, I should go to bed and head to San Fran tomorrow. Nope, going to the store.
Yeah, I'll be sweating my tits off when I go because I'll have just played in a basketball game. But,
there you go. Yeah, go down there all fucking salty. Now you got a record out, right?
Yeah.
Is this your first stand-up record?
It was my first one, yeah.
Where'd you do it at?
The Comedy Store in La Jolla.
Dope spot.
Yeah.
Eric Griffin also did his there.
Yeah, and Steve Simone just recorded his down there, too.
That's correct.
Sam Tripoli was the first one that I knew that did it. And he told me how great it was, and Lou, the sound guy, takes care of you. So it's called Get to the Castle, and I released it around this time last year. And
what's the name of it about?
Get to the Castle is based on a bit I do about Super Mario Brothers.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
Getting to the castle. 'Cause
Right.
That's all. When you're a kid, that's all you really want to do. Doesn't matter what's going on in the real world. Doesn't matter if you finished your social studies homework. Just get Luigi to the fucking castle.
Yeah, that's after my time. For me, it would be like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just fuck up that gorilla on the top up there.
Yeah, well, that was the first appearance.
That's right.
Yeah, of Mario.
Of Luigi.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They kind of showed up hanging around with that monkey, and they're like, hey, let's give these guys their own gig and see if they can handle it.
Crazy money.
That's right.
I also...
Donkey Kong was like L.A. Guns.
They were. Donkey Kong was the starter of the storm called Guns N' Roses. That is an amazing fucking...
I'm sure Axl would love to be compared to Mario.
Later on, they made a copy of Donkey Kong, and I owned it for a long time, called Popeye, which was just like Donkey Kong, but Brutus up there.
Oh,
and then they had Popeye, and you eat spinach, and you instead of getting something, you'd eat the spinach, and you could beat up Popeye, and you battled the sea hags and all that. Sea hags would throw old bottles at you.
Absolutely, that was another thing, because the arcade was a cool kind of different spot in the mall, and now it just all those arcades got so corporatized, like Dave and Buster's and stuff like that. There's always a Dave and Buster's when you go do improvs on the road. There's always a Dave and Buster's down the street, and it's fun for like 10 minutes, and then I got to get the hell out of there. That might be my age. That just might be. Yeah. Arcades aren't the way that I remember them. You know?
Well, I was just in Vegas. I was at the Pinball Museum.
I heard that place is dope.
Now, if anybody's listening, you go to Vegas, spend fucking 4 or 5 hours, 2 hours, whatever you do, at the Pinball Hall of Fame. It's one of my favorite places. I've been there 3 times this year already. And recently I was in there, and you saw some photos. They got the Metallica pinball now. They've got AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Ted Nugent. It's weird Van Halen doesn't have a pinball. But while I was there this week,
it'd be such a great
pinball
game, because you could be playing with one pinball, then halfway through that pinball could just get stuck, and then you have to put in your backup Sammy Hagar pinball and then play with that one. Then the Hagar one would run out, and then the Daily Roth one comes back into circulation.
And then Sharon would just shoot at Sharon's head with a ball, right? Like multi-ball would be shoot the Sharon, shoot the Sharon.
Don't hit the Sharon, you'll lose 200 records.
Anyway, this place is fucking phenomenal. And this weekend I was there, and the guy said, hey, man, he knows I'm a comedian and stuff.
Yeah.
He said, hey, I want you to come down here and play this game while we film you. They have a pinball machine that looks just like a pinball machine. I'll show you after we're done with the podcast. But it's a screen on the fucking playing field and then one above you. and it has 174 games. You pick one, and it's virtual pinball. But everything looks real and shit on it. You're like, fucking, this is crazy. So he goes, maybe you want to play the Rush pinball. And he goes to Rush and today's Tom Sawyer gets high. Yeah. And then he goes, I got AC/DC. You know, he's got like fucking all these games in there. 174 games.
Dude, if I could pick one band to have like a pinball theme to like head up my machine, I'd probably have to pick Rush. Yeah. That would just be so trippy.
16 fucking songs Rush on there. You get to pick. This game is so customized. You tell the guy, look, I like Van Halen, and here's the 20 songs I want in it. They build a Van Halen themed game with the songs you choose.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'm going to be in Vegas the weekend after Christmas, and now I'm not even going to get to the shows.
Oh, you got to go over there, man. You got to go over there.
Mark Ellis will not be appearing on stage anymore because he'll be stuck playing
Where are you at
Panama.
in Vegas?
I'm at the. Me and John are doing the South Point Casino.
Oh, I just did it on Friday.
It's a beautiful showroom.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's a lot of fun, and they have a steak and shake.
Yeah, they do. Steak and shake.
For all us boys from the Southeast, that's just a good old-fashioned, easy way to put on 10 pounds in one weekend.
Yeah, Cap loves the room, the guy said.
Yeah, Cap taped his newest special called "Come Inside Me." It's now on Netflix, I think, and he taped it at South Point.
Wow.
And it was, I think they did it in one night. And, that showroom just looks immaculate.
What kind of crowds do you guys do? Like rednecks, or what do you guys do?
You get some of that, the blue-collar-y-ish.
Right.
But I haven't really noticed, like... When you're on the road with him, because his material is broad enough to really hit anybody.
Yeah.
And I like to think that I tailor my set to that as well.
Right.
Is that I just like entertaining people. I don't care who they look like or what they look like when they come in.
I don't either.
I just want to make them laugh. And I think so we get a pretty good cross section. It's cool when you're on stage and you see all these different demographics that are just kind of together. You have a pocket of older people and young people and everybody, every different races and all that stuff. So because like as long as I can see people and none of them are my family, then I'm happy to entertain. I love when my family comes to shows, but they have to sit in the back.
I don't want to see them, right?
I do this to make strangers laugh.
I did a show, and there was a guy in the third row, and I walked out, and I hadn't seen him since the 7th grade.
Yeah.
And there I am. I walk out, and I see the guy. He looks exactly the fucking same because he's an Asian kid, He didn't age or anything.
Yeah,
he's just the older Asian guy, and I look down, and it fucked my show up for a good 10 minutes because in my head, I'm like, man, that's fucking such and such. I can't believe he's in the third row. I haven't seen this guy in fucking 30 years.
I've had a couple exes in the front row, and I didn't know that they were going to be there.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know they were coming to the show.
Did they want to re-up?
After my set, I thought maybe. Well, it's funny because I don't mind having exes at the show because even when they bring their new boyfriends or whatever. Because
ticket sales.
I'm the entertainment.
I
get their.
You've already been in there too.
yeah. It's like no, been there, done that.
Yeah.
But it's also like this is what you passed up. And even though it doesn't go into all the other stuff, it's just that's like the best that we are.
Yeah.
Is that time on stage?
Yeah.
It's good. It's like
especially if you're on the road with like Cap and it's sold out.
It's fantastic.
And then they're like, I kind of blew it.
Yeah. It's like, well, yeah. What was your guy? Oh, he works at a bank. That sounds fun.
Oh yeah.
I got another show to do. See ya.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Missionary, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then 5 years later, he still works at a bank and has a job. And
Exactly. I'm over here eBaying with you. We're Craigslisting.
We're putting our last quarter into that pinball machine in Vegas.
All right. So a lot of people. Of course, I pride myself on having a fun music podcast.
Yes, sir.
And it's rare I have comedians on anymore because everybody does that. But I have you on because
we know so many people.
And well, we love rock, you and I.
Love it.
You love Van Halen.
Love Van Halen. Favorite band of all time by far. Everybody else is fighting for third place.
Yeah, but you like even the Sammy Hagar era, right?
Yeah. I love all eras of Van Halen. I don't listen to Van Halen 3.
Yeah,
the
Sharon
album, but I love Sam and I love Dave. I always said like if they were playing an epic basketball game, Dave wins in overtime. And I'm a bigger fan of the Dave era than I am Sammy because I always looked at the Dave era of Van Halen is the greatest party on Earth,
right?
Or any other planet for that. Of
course. Matter. Did you see him early, Dave? I did a bunch of times.
No.
No, you just saw him recently, right?
I just saw him recently. I saw him in 2007. Me and you. Oh, by the way,
I had Renazizi on.
Yeah, and I got a bone to pick with you because I want to do a classic. I want to do my all-time Fantasy Rock League.
Oh, we do it we'll do it at the end.
I can. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Because that was one of those things I heard you do the podcast with Steve Simone and Steve Renazizi, and you said you were doing the Fantasy Rock League, and I got that classic comedian feeling of yes, I'll retweet Dean's podcast.
Yeah.
I want the world to see this. He's a good friend of mine. I want him to have success, and at the same time, I'm very jealous and I'm resentful and I'm upset that I did not get to participate in this thing too. So now I get to be in the club.
Yeah, you're in.
At the end of the podcast.
The funny thing was, it just came to me. Why? Because I wanted to know what the fuck fantasy football was. I know what it was, but I didn't understand how you fucking score.
Yeah.
So once he described that, I was like, you know what I could get into would be the Fantasy Rock League.
Absolutely. And you guys, it was a great podcast to listen to, too.
Well,
because
Steve Renazizi is a great guy, man.
And it was perfect for the fantasy because he's on FX The League and all that stuff.
Cool,
and
right?
Renazizi and Simone and I went to go see Van Halen in 2007.
Yeah, he told the story. It was hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He told the story about how he ordered pizzas and you were so drunk, you were like a bad marionette, and they had to carry you in. You were just like, Van Halen.
It wasn't that bad. I remember the show. But, that was a lot of fun that night. And I almost missed my flight home for Thanksgiving the next morning. But,
oh, my God. So let's talk a little bit about, now, I do slag Sammy a lot in the Van Halen era.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, I don't really necessarily slag the songwriting. I like the songwriting. And now, I'm a huge Sammy fan. Before Van Halen.
Oh, the Montrose stuff and Solo. Yeah.
I mean, Montrose, but also really the Street Machine record and the Danger Zone record is one of my, I own it over there on vinyl.
Oh, do you really?
I got a mint copy. I love the song In the Room. Remember that one? It's on Standing Hampton, but Danger Zone. And then, of course, the live record is phenomenal. And I saw Sammy probably about 15 times. I saw HSAS originally.
With Neil Sean,
Hagar,
the Journey
Sean,
guitarist.
Shreves, Aaron.
Yeah.
Hagar, Sean, Aaron, Shreves. I saw that at the Marin Civic. I also saw Sammy on the Danger Zone tour called Taking It to the People tour, where he did all the shitty areas of California, like Modesto, like real small areas. I went to a bunch of them. So I love Sammy. What I didn't like about Sammy in the Van Halen era was all of a sudden their clothes, their fucking dumb moves, and their parachute pants and fucking what? Look, I know people looked lame in that era.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that you not liking the band or not liking 1986?
No, because other guys look cool. Axl Rose looked fucking cool in 88, right?
Yeah, they look pretty cool.
86, Aerosmith looks fucking cool. Joe Perry's wearing leather. But it was just kind of goofball. It felt frat to me.
After all that stuff fades away, and that's the same thing with the early Van Halen with David Lee Roth, is after you get over all the assless chaps and all this shit that happened on stage, and you just have the music, which I think you can celebrate both of them, because what musically the Van Halen with Sammy Hagar did is it obviously, when you listen to Sammy Hagar it's fun music, but they elevated his game to another plateau.
Totally.
And then what he was able to do with that band is they were able to write whatever they wanted to musically.
That's right.
Because they knew that he could sing it,
yeah.
And he wasn't going to come in and start, scatting and bebopping and hey man, that dude is you.
He did really kind of copy it though on the first song, Finish What You Started.
Oh,
that was straight Dave, You got the tools
that was
to
like
satisfy.
that was like
keeping the beat alive.
When he starts out with Good Enough, that hello, babe. You could tell that was like when you follow a monster on stage,
of course,
and they just murder, and you're like, I got to take this energy somehow and transfer it. That was Hagar following. I mean, 5150. He had to follow the 1984 album.
I understand it.
I
understand it. I'll tell you what. At the time, man. That fucking Eat 'Em and Smile record had such an impact on me. And that band he put together, Steve Vai, Billy Sheehan, Greg Bissonette on drums. This shit was fucking epic, man. The videos were spectacular. So I was really Team Dave. But it was weird when Dave came to San Francisco. And then Van Halen came. They were really having a battle who would sell out the most nights. And Van Halen won, you know?
Yeah, the name Van Halen went so far. And they didn't even do any videos for 5150. They just...
Didn't they do that one, Finish What You Started?
They had the...
It's in the white room?
That was OU812.
Oh, that's the second record?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That was the only thing that you ever see from the 5150 record is the Live Without a Net tour they filmed, and then they also had like the Blue Angels Dreams video.
Oh, I remember that
which
one.
is really cool, which is basically because Top Gun came out in 1986 too.
Yep.
And they're like, hey, we can do some of this Top Gun. Everybody went Top Gun crazy.
Top Gun was dope. That's why.
Yeah, and that's also what we're talking about later. Top Gun's one of the great soundtracks of all time.
Exactly.
I mean, Danger Zone.
Exactly.
It runs the gamut from Danger Zone to Take My Breath Away, and then Steve Stevens rocking out the Harold Faltermeyer score of the Top Gun anthem.
There you go.
Mean, that record has everything you want in a soundtrack.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's so just to put a cap on it, I think both eras are just so exciting musically to me, and it's just if Van Halen, they are exactly what fun sounds like. To me, and I love U2, and I love bands that can get political and preach a message, but when I listen to music, I want to have a ball, and nobody does it better than Van Halen.
Well, Van Halen is, one of the most insane bands of all time. They're a California band, okay? It's tough for me to pick a favorite record. For a long time, it was Fair Warning. Everyone goes to that first, but now...
And you had a big... And you're also a musician, and you toured with musicians, and that's what you always hear, the other guitar players always say that Fair Warning is their favorite one because the stuff that Eddie did. Right. Because he heard Randy Rhoads, and he was like, oh, this is...
To me, it was lyrically, the whole record was... let's push the party shit over for a minute.
It got a little dark.
I don't know where the fuck Dave got those lyrics. I always bring it up to people, but
You know what it was? Is that Dave went on one of his like He-Man adventures down in South America, and he saw the poorest people on Earth, what they were doing, how they survived. Yeah. And so he came back, and you listen to Mean Street, and Eddie's got two solos in that. Yeah. And the first one is just real fun, jumpy, and then the second one that takes the song out is like, man, we are in the wrong part of town.
Hell yeah. It's funny that you're on today because as I was riding home, I rode my motorcycle to Vegas for the shows, and every time
This is why you're cooler than me. This is why people come to your house to do your podcast.
Hey, man.
Because of lines like, so I was riding my motorcycle to do the shows in Vegas.
I love riding the shows. There's really something special about it. People go like, that's dangerous. I'm like, get out of here. Yeah. Everything's dangerous. You know what I mean?
I've always heard that riding a motorcycle, there's no freedom like it. And because I've done the drive in my Ford Fusion to Vegas, and I love it. But I'll probably never ride a motorcycle in my life, but I take other people's word for it. Like when they say heroin is the greatest high you can ever have, I'm just going to have to take people's word for it. I don't think it's ever going to happen to me personally.
But as I come home every time from Vegas, there's that damn Glen Ellen Parkway exit where I saw him on the US Festival, Van Halen.
Yeah.
And every time I go by that exit, it fucking hits me like a punch in the face. There I am, back in high school with two of my buddies, this guy Tony Halby and this other guy. My mom drove us out. We rented a Toyota Dolphin. It was like a mini motorhome.
Yeah.
And we went there and fucking saw Van Halen,
The 83 one?
The 83, yeah. I saw all 3 days, but yeah. So when I go by there, now they got that shitty place out there, Blockbuster Pavilion. That's where it was. But there was no pavilion, Yeah. And I recently read that the stage from the US Festival was donated to Disneyland, like somewhere in California Adventure, one of those parks. They use it still to this day for something.
Oh, really?
I just read that on some trivia bullshit. It could be wrong. But
wow, it's funny to think of like Cinderella and Goofy dance on the stage. The Roth and the Boys Crush.
Diamond Dave, fucking one of his worst shows of all time.
They were because Van Halen didn't headline that show until the Sunday.
Yeah. No, Saturday.
Until Saturday.
But he was gone on one of those trips.
He got really sick and he was drinking and partying backstage, and he was a mess.
It was the first show I ever been to. The second song was a drum solo because they were like, there's so many like rumors about that show. Some say they shot him up with adrenaline in the back so they can get him back up, like he was just gone.
Yeah.
But at the time that was the highest paid show, something like $16,000 a minute or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they made $1.5 million for the that's an expensive drum solo.
The smoker of the day to me was Motley Crue. Because they just came out with the Shout at the Devil outfits.
Yeah.
It was daytime. They just looked fucking like the new California Sunset Strip kids are taking over.
Yeah.
And Priest was on Screaming for Vengeance. Yeah. And Scorpions was on the Blackout record. So you had all this great fucking records. And then Quiet Riot, Come on, Phil.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that
And
was when metal started to take over.
Ozzy with Jakey. You know?
Yeah.
What a fucking day, right?
That's a good day.
God damn. All right, so now you have a podcast for movies, right? Schmoes Knows?
Yeah, it's hard to follow the US Festival lineup, but we'll try. It was, Schmoes Know is the name of the show.
Now,
and that's
how did that start?
Me and my buddy Christian Harloff, we started doing it because we just like talking about movies, and then it just gradually grew into this thing to where it is now, because we started a YouTube channel and we just said, okay, let's see if anybody pays attention. And then, we started building subscribers, and it was really we just kept making videos. So we'd pay to go see movies and then talk about them afterwards. And then that snowballed to what it is today, where we have a pretty big size following on YouTube, which is still our hub.
What do you got?
The Schmoes Know channel on YouTube. I think we're over 70,000 subscribers on there now.
No shit, huh?
And then our podcast is doing really well too. The Schmoes Know Movies podcast.
Yeah.
And
is that on iTunes?
Yeah, it's available on iTunes. You can go there and rate and comment and all that stuff. And it's just really fun. I mean, now we're on the YouTube critics that are certified on Rotten Tomatoes. So we get to, we influence the tomato meter, and we're accredited with the MPAA and all these things. And so
that's
now
legit.
It's legit, and it's still, but we take it from the everyman's perspective, where we're not, we're not highfalutin movie critics. It's
Do you trash the movie if it needs to be trashed, or are you afraid?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, because movie people give you passes now and shit, right?
Yeah.
How do you get into that loop as like a legit, reviewer? You know what I'm saying? Because you go every week, we're saying on Mondays, to free movies, right?
Yeah, you knock on the door, and when they don't answer, you knock again. You keep knocking,
right.
You keep knocking, and then you start. I mean, we've had a couple nice shots in the arm because we started doing different podcasts, like we did Adam Carolla's podcast.
That's
and
great.
Dog Lug Movies and stuff like that.
And you do the radio here in the morning, right?
Yeah, we do Heidi and Frank on 95.5.
On what is that, Fridays?
Usually it's Thursdays.
Oh, right on.
Because, we've seen all the movies that are coming out that weekend, and then we kind of give people... Because, again, that's why I like doing the show. Is like, because movies are expensive. They
are.
And if some kid's listening to our show and he wants to know, what do I spend money on this weekend? It's like, I mowed 3 lawns to go see a movie.
Yeah.
I want it to be worth the money. Or I want to see a movie that's just so spectacularly awful that I can trash it with my friends.
Exactly.
I don't like when people have to flush money down the toilet. So
yeah, that's true. Now the movies. I'm a movie freak.
As am I, as we talked about. Yeah.
I don't go see everything. I try to see only Supremo shit. You know what I mean?
Well, what kind of a movie guy are you? Like what's your wheelhouse? I noticed there's a lot of Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws is top.
The Delray residence.
I'll give you the top 5 films for me, and then you'll understand what I'm into. First of all, anything Wes Anderson does, anything, I'm fucking in. It could be a shit short film he just put out, whatever. I love Wes Anderson. It is a lot of samey, but I dig the way it looks. To me, it's more everything about the movie. I like, whoa, look at this thing, looks spectacular.
Yeah.
I love Wes Anderson. Anything the Coen brothers do, fucking on board.
Okay.
But the movies of course, Godfather 1 and 2, Apocalypse Now, Jaws, those are the types of stuff, but also I like small film, like over there, American Splendor, one of my favorite films ever.
Yeah.
Also like Sideways, shit like that. I like all different flavors.
Yeah.
Like I'm fired up to see Nebraska coming out. Everyone's saying that's the film of the year right now.
I had to miss the screening because I was gigging that night, and that's the only time when stand-up and schmoes really conflicts. It's like, oh, I got this gig I already booked, and so now usually it works out pretty well because the screenings are early in the week, and then I can do the shows the rest of the, I can do late spots after the screening, then I can do the better spots towards the weekend. But I missed the Nebraska screening, and Christian saw it with one of our interns, Cobster, and they both liked it, but they didn't love it. So now I got to see it for myself.
That's right.
Because anything Alexander Payne directs, I get excited about. Because, The Descendants and Sideways and all those kind of things.
Sideways is a masterpiece of comedy.
It's funny you mentioned The Godfather. Because I was like, what's the best mob movie? Is it The Godfather 1 or 2? Or is it Goodfellas? And I always lean towards Goodfellas because of the soundtrack, Dean.
Wow.
That's the tiebreaker. Because the soundtrack is so good.
The problem I have with Scorsese, and he made the 4th favorite film of all time for me, Raging Bull. I love Raging Bull more than A Raging Bull is a fucking masterpiece, man. I watch it every year, no matter what.
De Niro's got a new boxing movie coming out. Have you heard him and Stallone?
Oh, yeah.
In the ring? But it's one of those movies. It's kind of like Las Vegas with those guys. It's like, you know what? Is it a cash grab? Maybe. But you get to see Rocky in the ring versus Raging Bull, and I don't care what year it is. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah. The problem with me with Goodfellas and Scorsese, and I love Scorsese, is he's obvious on his music. You know what I'm saying?
He wears his heart on his sleeve,
I know what the fuck he's gonna use. He's gonna use some Stones. You know what I mean? So a good example is last week I went to the Dome. I saw Fight Club in the Dome.
Yeah.
Fight Club. I hadn't seen it since it came out, so I don't know what year it came out. I can't remember. But there I am sitting.
I saw it in college. I think it was like 99.
So I'm watching it and fucking cranked up. Here comes Tom Waits. Going out west, you know, going out, be gonna go out west. I was like, fucking, this is great. I almost stood up. I was like, almost like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I like when someone pops in a tune on a film and either you go, who is this? Or you go, man, I haven't heard this in years.
Yeah.
I love that about soundtracks.
Yeah, when they can give you that deep cut that you didn't see coming.
Going Out West is one of my favorite Tom Waits songs of all time, off my favorite Tom Waits record, Bone Machine. So when you hear it, I'm thinking right there, Fincher, what a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's only like 3 songs in the movie or something. I can't remember. There's probably more, but this one is the first one that comes on kind of, a quarter into the movie.
Yeah, and it is really exciting too because like a lot of kids movies when they're trying to like rock out, they use the staples that they're going to play. You know you're going to
Shook Me All Night Long.
Yeah, and you're going to get, Back in Black and that kind of things. But then sometimes I like when directors take chances and they're showing you new music. That's what I liked about High Fidelity with John Cusack is that there's some very pop songs in there too, but there's also things that you didn't know that they were going to play. And then obviously Bruce Springsteen shows up in the middle of the movie for a quick cameo. So
there you go.
Yeah, that's a great. That's what I think of when I think of great soundtracks because you have these compilation films too, like Forrest Gump. That soundtrack, my dad bought that double disc soundtrack, and that was what was playing in his car for like 3 years. Yeah, there's so many good songs on it.
Yeah,
but that's what Forrest Gump is. It's literally a slice.
It's a time travel.
Here's what America was. It's a time capsule. It's a huge time capsule.
Pictures, snapshots.
Yeah, and it's the size of California because it's from this decade to this decade to this. So you go from Elvis all the way up through the AIDS crisis. You know, when Jenny miraculously shows up back on Forrest's doorstep
which is dying. Eric Griffin's one of my favorite jokes. I won't give it away, but I love Eric Griffin. Shout out to Eric Griffin.
Absolutely, yeah.
But soundtracks are amazing. And that's why I wanted to have you on because you're a movie guy and you're a rock guy, and I love movies and I love music, and I really feel like I had Damone on from Fast Times.
Yeah.
So I fired up the Fast Times soundtrack. Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar's on
big Sammy guy for me back then because he also did heavy metal. Heavy metal, off that movie.
Hagar also had a tune at the beginning of the original Footloose.
Did he?
In the scene at the beginning when they're like, racing cars, doing whatever bored kids in a farm town do, and Sarah Jessica Parker's character is like hopping from one car to the other. Yeah. It's a Sammy Hagar song blasting out one of their speakers.
Which one is it?
That's a great question.
I'll look it up.
It might be Your Love Is Driving.
Oh yeah, crazy. Yeah.
It might be that one, but yeah, and it's funny because you bring up rock and movies together, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Man. Originally, Van Halen was asked to pen that song, and they didn't do it, so they got Sammy Hagar instead. And that was before Hagar was in the band, so Hagar was like the backup to Van Halen, but that band kind of bookmarks that movie, the references to Van Halen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But if you
Cheap Trick, it's that whole era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when he's like, what about the tunes? The Dream Police, they live inside them. You know the era right away,
And if anybody thinks of that, if anybody hears that Cars song and doesn't think about Phoebe Cates getting out of the pool.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Just titties.
Maybe the best tit shot of all time. And I know that's a totally different podcast. I'd love to come back to do one time, but that might be my favorite tit shot of all time.
Yeah, that's that, and they really give you a long shot of those. When you're in junior high or high school, I was in high school. I think I think I was a sophomore when that came out. When you see tits that long, you're like, man, those are some tits.
The director just got off the phone with her agent. He's like, hey, guys, she's going to do it. Roll camera right now.
yeah, right.
The chick from Gremlins is going to take her top off.
Fucking amazing. Now, some of the soundtracks that now we threw out some tweets. Some people got confused. They're doing scores.
It's always tough because you hear soundtrack and instantly you start thinking about things that, like, and I don't know, like Titanic has Celine Dion is singing on a couple of it, but that's more orchestra, or like Star Wars.
Yeah,
like John
that's
Williams,
a classic.
Conducting Jaws, Star Wars,
awesome.
Superman, stuff like that. I mean, John Williams. Yeah, I love listening to the Superman soundtrack because that's an '80s metal.
Well,
soundtrack.
Biddlecombe, who tours with me,
Brent Biddlecombe,
he's a scores freak. Like he listens on. He just lost it on Sirius Radio. I guess they got rid of this. They had a station that played all kinds of movie scores.
Yeah, Harloff was telling me because I got the Sirius in my car when I got the new Fusion, and he's like, "Dude, you got to find the scores and soundtrack." And I was like,
now.
I can't find it.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna go back to Hair Nation.
But oh man, now
and the Boneyard. Yeah,
I'm Boneyard only.
Yeah,
I don't even need any of the other stations. I just have Boneyard and the Springsteen one and the Pearl Jam. I'm good.
Hair Nation's got Eddie Trunk's show, which I like, and then they play way too much Winger. They do play way too much Winger.
Boneyard. We're all over the boat here, but this is great. I always complain. Fucking Boneyard plays Billy Squier, which makes no fucking sense to me at all. There's not even an ounce of Boneyard in Billy Squier.
Yeah,
the only thing's in him is the bone. Maybe they confuse it. Like he just hits it up like, I love bone. Like they're hey, but So yeah, soundtracks. I was just going through my cassettes a couple of days ago.
And if we're talking soundtracks and not scores, like these are actual like compilations for.
Yeah, we want people.
Term.
I want to get that out so people don't go like, well, what about this? We're talking about classic soundtracks that back in the 80s. My all-time favorite, of course. And I'm going to shock everybody on it, but it's 100% the Bee Gees' Saturday Night Fever.
That is a shocker to me. Not because it's not fantastic,
right?
But I think I know where you're going with this too. Is because that music, it's not just hey, we like these songs, let's put it in a movie. It's those songs
told the story.
That generation, and they were the driving force behind that movie's narrative.
100%.
Yeah,
they told the story of the movie.
I sound like a real film critic there for a minute.
That's right.
That freaked me out.
Hey, you're all legit.
Whoa.
But as I sit down and think about soundtracks, I think about that one more than anyone ever.
As soon as those shoes start walking down the street,
it's fucking. Well,
you can tell by the way I use
that
my
shit,
wallet.
man. Yeah. And also Night Fever, man. You know, Night Fever, night. And
those songs get inside like disco. Yeah. I will.
And I know the scenes, like when the chick says "fuck off, you're a loser," and he gets into "how deep is your love," and all that. You know, it's just like wow.
See, I thought the one you were gonna go with, and it might be my favorite soundtrack of all time, is I was gonna go a decade before Saturday Night Fever.
Yep.
And I was gonna go with the one that had everything from Jimi Hendrix to the obvious Steppenwolf that announced the arrival of heavy metal was Easy Rider.
Right.
Yeah, because. That sound like, and again, you talk about, because I like when movies that have great soundtracks open like a great rock concert. And that's what Saturday Night Fever did because they get right into it. And what Easy Rider did is it ingratiates you into the movie, and then as soon as they hit the road, it launches into Born to Be Wild, and it blows you away. To this day, if that's on TV,
it really does.
I get goosebumps, man.
Yeah. I look at that scene when that fucking comes on, you know, dun, 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 dun,
and you're like, yeah,
and they're riding.
Yeah,
I look at that piece right there as probably the blueprint of like that got in my head was like That's my dream always. Like I rode to Vegas this week. It's always in my head. Whenever something's bad, I get on the bike, and that's what those guys did. They're like, we're punching out of America. We're not working. We're going to go live our lives. And I believe in that. I really do.
Let me ask you this. Can you actually listen to Born to Be Wild on a bike? Or is it too loud? Is the motorcycle, are the parts of the motorcycle too loud? Because sometimes I'll see guys riding bikes around and they have like a stereo, but it sounds awful.
No, the new it sounds awful to you.
Can you put earbuds in?
No, it sounds awful to you because it's weird because the wind and everything.
There's a ding, ding, ding,
but
ding,
the
ding,
way, but the way the speakers are focused on the newer Harleys, they have these incredible systems.
It'll hit you okay.
Oh, perfect. And you just kind of crack your helmet a little bit, like I wear a full face, and you can hear it because when you have a helmet on, you can hear better. It's weird because it's not like. So you crack the helmet a little bit and it just comes right in and you're on, man.
Oh, Dino, I want you to be safe. You know, I just want you to be safe on that bike.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a funny story about Easy Rider is that apparently, because I actually rode across country shooting the movie, and Peter Fonda, he had that bike, you know, with the handlebars way up there. Yeah. By the second night of filming, they would go to like have whatever hotel pool was around the Holiday Inn hotel pool or whatever. His shoulders were so sore, he had to have a couple people come over and just dump beer into his mouth so he could get drunk with everybody else because his arms were too sore to actually open the beer can and drink a beer.
Well, I got another good story on that movie. I did a movie with Hopper, and he told me all the great stories of Easy Rider. I did, Hell Ride. So Hopper said that in order to get the shots, they had to ride the bikes about 12 miles an hour. They couldn't ride faster because the shots would look shitty and blurry.
Yeah, you couldn't tell what was going on.
So they're riding so fucking slow. Now, if the audience out there is listening to me and you've never rode a chopper, you have to...
And what are you doing, you pussy?
Yeah, you fucking assholes. Man up, get a chopper and quit your job. Punch out.
I drive a Ford Fusion.
But what I'm trying to say is, choppers aren't made to ride slow because they're long and funky. You have to get them going and then they're fine. But at slow speeds, they're hard because they just kind of like it. So they're all sore from riding so slow because they're just trying to keep these dumb fucking machines up straight and going, you know? So they were just ate alive on those 12-mile-an-hour rides down the highway.
That's the on-road equivalent of trying to shoot Jaws with all the problems that being on the water constantly presents to you. It's like
that's my favorite stories. I know everything about Jaws. The guy that built that was the guy that did the octopus in 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He was retired. He builds Bruce the shark. There's 3 of them, and they don't tell him it's going to be salt water. So as soon as they stuck it in salt water, all those hoses, that air hoses, they rotted away. So that shit didn't work. That's why, they had to fix it. That's the classic, and that's why the movie's good, because there's no shark.
See the shark as much as Spielberg wanted to,
Now, let's get back to it. So, Easy Rider, of course, but me, Saturday Night Fever. Now, I fired up some stuff. I found a cassette over there, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Ooh, that's so good.
Yeah, right?
That's so good. About 2 boys who have the ultimate dream in life. They just want Eddie Van Halen to join their band.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And Bogus Journey is actually a cool soundtrack, too, because it's got Kiss covering God Gave Rock and Roll to You, too.
Yeah.
And, Bill and Ted's and those kind of movies. Like, you know what's funny is that a lot of movies about, like, teenagers or college kind of kids have those style soundtracks. Like, you go as far back
movies with arcades. That's what I said. Movies with arcades got fucking great soundtracks.
Absolutely, yeah. And like you take something like High School Kids, like American Pie has a good soundtrack because that's a perfect capsule of the late 90s, early 2000s, And then you have something that lasts even longer, in my mind, musically, is something like Animal House, which is a bunch of college kids, and just a classic.
Somebody tweeted that was their favorite soundtrack.
Yeah. And then and Dazed and Confused, if you want to go the 70s, that classic rock soundtrack. And again, it's one of those things that defines it. Diner, great.
Great soundtrack.
And I think those will stand the test of time more than the American Pie soundtrack will, because people aren't itching to hear Third Eye Blind.
Yeah. Well, there's a bad era, because like there was a time where they just started putting bands in like product placement. Hey, we need our band in there.
Yeah.
So I looked up some that I really love. Of course, remember Who Made Who? AC/DC.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an EP. It's like, I think it only has like 6 songs. Couple AC/DC instrumentals, instrumentals, which are really amazing to check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instrumental songs.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, you're like, wow, this is wild.
And
You can make your own AC/DC song up.
I know, it's AC/DC, too.
Right?
That's the coolest thing. And you can take that and go into concert films, and even if concert films don't technically count, like Hard Day's Night would probably win in a landslide.
To me, song remains the same. You know,
Song remains the
Zeppelin.
same.
Yeah.
The Metallica movie just came out.
Yeah.
Or you can go with, I think one that should count is This Is Spinal Tap.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
that original music, and it's so funny too. Just everything about Spinal Tap is so perfect.
Yeah.
And the fact that the music sounded that good, and they actually put that much effort into lampooning it, and also honoring what hair metal was.
Yeah, the
Fantastic.
lyrics are great. Now, my second favorite of all time, and I don't believe going from the bottom up because it's like you got to just get your favorite one out so people can know. But my second favorite, hands down, is The Wall.
Okay, yeah, Pink Floyd.
It's a masterpiece fucking record. You know what I mean? That record is better than the movie, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, the movie, I love The Wall.
Right.
The album.
Right.
I love all that stuff. The movie I just never got into. I could just never embrace what that movie is trying to do to my head. We used to like my friends always put it on when we were like, you
It's
first
very
start
depressing.
sneaking beers down in the basement, and they put that on, and I'm like, I'm just not. Maybe that's why I didn't drink in high school, because like when they put that movie on, I was like, I'm just gonna go home and sleep. I got basketball
you were
practice
scared
tomorrow.
or something, right?
Yeah, I don't want.
That's gonna take you somewhere, man.
If I'm gonna have nightmares, I want it to be because of the acid I'm doing, not because of the
Right.
Pink Floyd movie I just
Right,
watched.
right.
Obviously, don't do drugs, kids.
Great soundtrack, though, right?
Fantastic.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
would argue probably the best rock record, a soundtrack. That's technically a soundtrack ever made.
I guess it counts, yeah, because did The Wall, the album, come out before the movie? Did they make the movie based on that, or was it?
You know what? That's a good question, because to me it just seems like it's all the same time. But I'll look later.
I'll give it to you on a technicality that
Right.
can be your second favorite because it's your list, Dean. You should.
Well,
really
yeah,
put what you want
I
on
don't
there.
care, but I was thinking about it like, I saw The Wall last year and over there at the Staples Center, and it was just like, what the fuck? This guy is just an artist.
Yeah.
There's nothing fucking cooler than seeing that,
That's
man.
one of those things. My sister got me that DVD, the DVD of Roger Waters performing The Wall for my birthday recently, and thank God she got me that, because I don't know that I'll ever see it live. I'd love to, but I just don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity. But I heard it's one of those transcendental experiences.
Well, it's like going to the best fucking play you've ever been to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if some people aren't even into plays, they're like, this is the bomb.
Yeah, I'll go see that. I'm not going to go see South Pacific again anytime soon. But I'll see that.
Right. So what do you got? What's your favorite one? Did we say it?
I think.
Oh, you said Easy Rider
or Animal House, and I think that one that's way up there, and one that I never really think of first is That Thing You Do, because
that's a great movie.
Because it's basically one song.
Right.
That they do over and over and over again. But there's other original music that they wrote for the movie. And that's one of those things we're talking about is I like when, and you can tell what a fan Tom Hanks was as a director of that era.
Right.
In rock
he
and roll.
He nailed it.
Yeah, he nailed the feel of that. And that song is just perfect. It's so funny because that's a great song. And that would have been a legitimate hit.
Would have been a hit, yeah.
And they sat down and it was like when Journey wrote Any Way You Want It. It's like, guys, we need a hit bad.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're that good, you can just write a hit when you need it. That's awesome.
Well, you know how to write a hit if you get the hook right on the chorus. The rest is just filler. You know what I mean? It's just like dun, 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 living on a prayer. It's like oh fuck, we got him. You know?
Hit writing with Dean Delray and Mark Ellis.
Now my third favorite, and it was between 3 and 4, which is really weird for me, but Commitments.
Oh yeah, that's a movie I didn't see until recently, and I loved it.
Oh my God! The reason I love the Commitments was it really opened me up to that kind of R&B, Motown, and soul, and all of the, and the way that fucker sings "Try a Little Tenderness" in that wedding or whatever, when he gets up there and he does it. It's so great, man.
And that's a great movie too.
It really is a great film. It stands up.
Yeah.
That's a great music movie.
That came out, I think, in 90, and then my next movie came out in 91, and you mentioned Living on a Prayer.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the movie, and partially because I was at that age, and that movie just influenced the hell out of me, and I wanted to be a cowboy for a week, was Young Guns 2.
Young Guns 2. That's right, he did that.
Score.
That's a great song. What is it?
It's Blaze of Glory.
Shot down in a blaze of glory. I love that.
It was a great song, but if you listen to the whole, Bon Jovi did a whole record. He left the band. He told Richie and Tico and the guys to just take 5. I'm going to go write this movie.
Right.
And the whole movie soundtrack is really, really interesting. There's some kind of like Billy Get Your Guns. It's like, all right, I get it, but. There's also a song called Miracle on there, a song called Santa Fe, and it's just really like down and out. If he wrote a whole concept album based around
a Western,
the song that was the Wanted Dead or Alive,
right?
That's what the Young Guns 2 soundtrack was, and so it's a really interesting listen to go back and check
it's kind of part 2 to me. Blaze of Glory, great song though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You fucking hear it; it's a hit, man.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I don't even remember the movie at all.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love Young Guns too because it's got maybe my favorite line in movie history.
No.
For all of the great lines that were in Star Wars.
No way.
Is when Emilio Estevez, as Billy the Kid, points the gun at some poor worker who's working on some rich guy's ranch because he was ordered to kill Billy the Kid. And Billy points the gun at him and he says, "Yoo-hoo, I'll make you famous." It's the coolest line ever.
And then he kills him?
I'm not going to give away spoilers.
Okay. All right, next up. This is hands down. These two are a tie for me.
Okay.
Because I love them both. It's Car Wash / Superfly.
Car Wash, yes. Yeah, Superfly, man.
Curtis Mayfield, man. I mean, But on the Car Wash, Rolls-Royce did it. They got that song, I'm Going Down.
Yeah.
That's so great. And also the song Car Wash, you got Richard Pryor talking on there. Here comes Daddy Rich,
You could have The Harder They Come, too, in that same kind of category, yes, with Superfly.
Oh, man.
Curtis Mayfield was so good. I'd probably have to take Superfly.
It's
Car Wash
so
was
great.
so fun, though.
It is. Well, the soundtrack, I love the Car Wash soundtrack, man.
Yeah.
I really fucking love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that movie. I think it's so fucking funny and classic.
Oh, it's great. And Carlin's in that, too, right?
That's right.
Carlin and Pryor
Hell
are
yeah.
in a movie together.
Yeah, can you believe it?
I would say another one that I think has to be mentioned is Purple Rain.
Oh, well. Purple Rain is a fucking masterpiece.
It is. It's nothing that I'm going to sit around on the weekend and be like, oh, look, Purple Rain's on. I'll catch 10 minutes of that before I go out. But it's an experience. And it's really just see what a complete artist Prince is. And to stand out at that time when you're going up against, in 1984, when you're going up against Michael Jackson and Bruce Springsteen.
That record fucking was the one, man, because, I love that song on there, and I love the scene, Beautiful Ones. That's the one where he does the one song, and the guy's like, what's this one song shit? You're just like your father, man. You ain't nothing. But when he does that, baby, that fucking song blows my mind. And then after that, he does Cherry Moon, which is a garbage can. You know what I mean? I think that movie is just garbage.
Yeah.
I respect he tried to be a little artist or whatever, but it's like, this thing sucks.
That drop-off was akin to Pee-wee's Big Adventure versus Big Top Pee-wee. It did not work the second time around. But I'll tell you what, man, Prince had one of the best Super Bowl halftime shows I've ever seen. When
I worship Prince.
And he was just going crazy on the guitar playing Let's Go Crazy.
Awesome. I think Sign of the Times is one of the best records ever made.
A funny story about Prince is that when he was dating Apollonia during the Purple Rain thing, Apollonia's previous boyfriend, she was ordered to break up with by Prince, and that boyfriend was David Lee Roth.
Wow.
She was sleeping around with David Lee Roth, and Prince is like, no, you got to stop.
Diamond Dave. Well, here's a great thing, too. Out of that, you get the time. You know what I mean? Right. Chocolate. All that shit, man. So you get the time. You get two great fucking eras, right?
Two for the price of one. You're welcome, Mark Ellis, for bringing that up.
Hell yeah, that's great. Now, here's something I was looking up, which was incredible, since I'm such a GNR.
You got an eclectic mix on here, Dino.
I do.
We're going everything from the Bee Gees to Superfly to...
Well, soundtracks, I really figured it out, man. Back in the day, were so monumental to me. I really like soundtracks. soundtracks. You'd get it like Purple Rain. You go, this
you'd
is
see the movie, and you'd get so excited to relive that experience.
fucking fall in love with it, right?
And you run down to the record store. By the way, those don't exist either anymore.
Yeah.
They have a tomb next to Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things you got. I guess now you just run home and download all the shit, but that's not as fun.
I'm slowly getting them on vinyl. I got Saturday Night Fever over there. I got Purple Rain. I got The Godfather. I've got what else I got over there? Car Wash, and then I have Song Remains the Same, of course, The Wall, Superfly. But the thing I looked up was Guns N' Roses, man. They fucking had songs in all kinds of movies. And they remember, of course, they were on Dirty Harry Deadpool. They were at the funeral scene, and then they have Welcome to the Jungle on that.
Where Jim Carrey's doing drugs in that film,
That's
I
right,
believe.
shooting junk. Remember that?
Yeah, kids, go see the Deadpool, because not for Clint Eastwood as Dirty Harry again, but because Jim Carrey is getting high listening to Guns N' Roses.
That was a cool area, but one of my favorite movies in the last 10 years was The Wrestler. And they had a song on The Wrestler. They had a song
Sweet
on...
Child of Mine. Apparently, Axl gave that to Mickey Rourke for free, too.
That's great.
He's like, here, take it.
Well, he was an early fan of GNR.
Yeah.
T2, of course. One of the best, man. You Could Be Mine.
Yeah,
Fucking kidding me?
And that was a cool video, too, because they got
right. They're at the Roxy, and then Schwarzenegger comes out, and they look at each other.
Yeah.
That shit is epic, right?
In Cape Fear, which Martin
that's
Scorsese
right.
directed, they have Patience.
That's what I just looked up. I forgot all about that, man.
Yeah, Julia Lewis is pissed off at her dad, Nick Nolte, and her mom, who was the hottest girl of all time. What's her from? The King Kong of 1976. Jessica Lange.
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah.
the mom in that.
Yeah.
And Julia Lewis is pissed off. She runs in, and she's going to rebel with the most tame Guns N' Roses song.
Cape Fear's killer, right?
Oh, yeah.
How great is Cape Fear, man?
What a remake.
What a weirdo he is in that movie scene, the movie theater, where he's like, ha, 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 ha. He's just laughing.
I'll give you $10 right now. $10 cash.
Yep.
And you can tell me what movie is playing. What movie are they seeing?
Oh, man.
It's a tough one.
Fuck.
It's a tough one.
God, I don't know. It's been so long.
It's a tough one, but here's your hint. On the soundtrack of the movie that they're watching in Cape Fear is Born to Be Wild and another classic soundtrack staple, Bad to the Bone.
Oh, man.
Born to Be Wild and Bad to the Bone. Now, what movie could possibly contain those two all-time?
Is it that the one with Swayze? What's that movie?
Roadhouse?
Yeah, Roadhouse. What movie?
It is not Roadhouse.
What is it?
Which actually features the Jeff Healey Band.
That's right.
It is Problem Child.
Problem Child. What
Remember
movie's that?
The redhead kid. And Michael Richards and John Ritter. His family adopts Junior, who's a redhead kid, and he's just his problem child. And he's bad to the bone, and he's born to be wild, and all these things. And it was just like this raunchy kind of comedy, and that's the movie that Robert De Niro's laughing his ass off to.
I fucking love that film.
Isn't it fun when Mark Ellis just takes over a podcast and goes down a weird walk?
That's great, dude. What are you talking about? Okay, now, so we've been given some of our favorites, and so
you get on your Twitter machine.
Well, first of all, I went to Rolling Stone's Top 25. And I'll just give you a rundown of that one.
I'm sure they had a lot of Bob Dylan on there.
They had one that we both missed. Pulp Fiction.
Ooh, yeah. Actually, I asked the Harloff, Christian Harloff, and that was one of the ones. That was one of the first ones he said.
Yeah, that's a great soundtrack, right?
Pulp Fiction, and he also said, I don't know if this is on the Stone list, but was just a great time capsule movie. Is Singles.
Oh, God, that's on there. And, man, what a great...
So
that
grungy.
has wood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It also has that great Cornell solo song on there, man.
Tempo the Dog is on there,
No, it's a different song. Hold on, I'll tell you what it is right now.
Are Screaming Trees on that?
Yeah, there you go.
It's a great kind of early grungy kind of record. And,
I own it, and here it is. So you get... State of Love and Trust by Pearl Jam, which is fucking great song.
That's really good, yeah.
Right? And then you get, look at this. You get, you get some Heart, right? And then
there you go. Screaming Trees, Nearly Lost You.
Yeah, what's the
Great song.
Oh, Birth Ritual. Check this song. fucking so dope.
I feel like we're the guys that work at a record store now, and we're just keeping the kids, and they're like, my mom's been waiting in the car for an hour.
All right, so let's get down into the Rolling Stone one real quick.
Yeah,
so okay, you got Pulp Fiction.
How wrong they are. Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got to piss. Hold on. Back in action. Had to piss. There we go. This podcast has piss breaks. Okay, so they had Pulp Fiction, then something called Head in 1968. The Monkees. Psychedelic Fantasy bombed at the box office.
Yeah.
But they had a record. It's a cult classic with cameos by Frank Zappa and co-written by Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Nicholson and the Monkees were hanging out a lot in the late 60s.
Matt, have you ever heard of this? I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird. All right, so that's 25 for him. 24. Oh, Rock and Roll High School. Great one with the Ramones.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's a great film, actually, right?
79. Another time capsule kind of flick.
Yep. 23. Juice is with Tupac. Juice. Remember that one?
I remember it coming out. I never saw Juice.
That was actually good, man.
Was it?
Yeah, it was good. It's got that flavor of the time, you know.
Omar Epps in that too, I think, right?
Samuel Jackson produced Bomb Squad. Hank Shockley. Oh, yeah, that was like just king of the hip-hop back then. Eric B. and Rakim. Killer shit. Okay, then number 22 is Lost in Translation. Oh.
Just for the karaoke scene alone.
Yeah, there you go. 21 is, what is 21 here? I don't know this one. 24-hour Party People. Yeah, I saw that. Do you see that one? That's the kind of raver movie.
Oh, wow. That's not my lifestyle.
Nope. Then Singles is 20. Yellow Submarine 19. Boogie Nights 18.
That's a good one we missed.
Yeah, Boogie Nights, we did miss that. Oh, shit, American Graffiti. That's a great one.
American
17.
Graffiti, yeah. That was like that in Animal House.
Jack, yeah, fucking playing all those great songs.
Harrison Ford, drag racing.
Yeah, I'll pop it up here. Goodfellas, you said. Easy Rider 14, Train Spotting. That's a great soundtrack.
It's an amazing soundtrack. I'll give it that. It's nothing that I enjoy listening to.
Yeah, but it's a drug soundtrack. Yeah. They nailed it.
That's more of a heroin soundtrack. I'm more of a beer soundtrack.
Yeah. Pretty in Pink. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Okay, then Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
There you go. There's your Coen brothers.
There's your Coen brothers, and that's fucking, of course, the master of soundtracks, T-Bone Burnett, who's won every fucking Academy Award there is.
Dude, you know what? What he did with Jeff Bridges for Crazy Heart, that's some fantastic country music.
That fucking movie's great. Did anybody see that? If you're listening to this Crazy Heart,
see Crazy Heart, yeah.
It's so good,
Jeff Bridges earned that Oscar, man.
I felt like it was kind of like a Christopherson story or something.
Yeah, it did feel like that, right?
Right, yeah.
And I'm not
which is a soundtrack we missed, which is what I own over there, Star is Born.
Oh, yeah.
With fucking Christopherson and the one of the biggest songs ever, Evergreen.
Yeah.
Which is a masterpiece. I love that song.
I love when Chris Christopherson appears up, because that guy may have the best stories of all time.
He's great, right? Then his Spinal Tap was 9, Rushmore 8. Pulp Fiction 7, Superfly, and then here's the top 5: Saturday Night Fever, The Beatles,
Hard Day's Night,
and then
The Harder They Come. There it is, number 3.
Yeah, number 3, and then Purple Rain, and number 1, which really to me is just like, I don't know. It's weird they have 3 Beatles movies, but not The Wall in there. But the Beatles help.
Yeah, I love the Beatles, and I just don't know if that's
not what we're talking about.
That's not the soundtrack in the same vein that we're talking about.
Those are like vehicles for the band, like Elvis's movies. You know, like we're going surfing. Yeah, you know what I mean. They're like, you're gonna do a surf movie, and then there's 9 surf songs.
But that's why this conversation we're having is one of the greatest bar conversations you can ever have, is because you do even get to bandy back and forth about what is in the confines of
That's
what
right.
we're talking about. Can I say the Doors because it's based on the band? So
Right.
obviously there's a lot of Doors songs in there. But hey, Val Kilmer's singing.
He
some of them,
sang the songs, which is
and
incredible.
He sounds pretty damn good.
Man, he sounds great, right? So that's their list, and let's look at some of the you tweeted, asked people what their favorites were, right?
Yeah, some people said, Miss Movie said she'd kill me if I didn't say Back to the Future, which is a great score, but also there's some great music in there, too.
Yep.
You get 80s, you get the Huey Lewis Power of Love, and you get to go back to the 50s.
Right.
For even like the Davy Crockett song and the classic Johnny Be Good. When he rocks out Johnny Be Good on stage, I get chills every time I see it.
Yeah, that's great. Also, she said, Miss Movie said Love Actually.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I still, and people can, I love romantic comedies, but I've never seen Love Actually.
Right.
And maybe this will be the Christmas that I see Love Actually.
Star Trek, this guy's just, he's talking about the fucking
That's more of a
score.
thing,
Yep. Yeah. Field of Dreams scores also,
Fans love scores, man.
Yeah, they do, which is cool, man. I think it's cool that people take the time to listen to scores.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know
I mean,
what I mean?
it's never been my thing. If I'm like running or something, I can listen to some like John Williamsy kind of stuff, but it's never been my thing like that. But here we go. Here's a great one. Our other intern, Josh the intern, wrote that I need to say Rocky IV.
Oh.
Because Rocky IV, it's not just that score. It's Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
And it's John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, Hearts on Fire.
Yeah.
And No Easy Way Out. And I think there's one Frank Stallone track in there because you got to have it.
Yeah.
Living in America by James Brown.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, that's really good. And then Almost Famous has a great soundtrack, too.
Oh, Almost Famous, of course. Are you kidding me? I can't believe I forgot that. It's one of my favorite films.
That was your life, Dean.
I know. Well, I love that movie, man. You know why I love that movie? Is the whole time I kept thinking, they're going to fuck this up. And I kept waiting, they're going to fuck this up. And they never did. You know why? Because Peter Frampton was like, he was on the set. So was his wife, Nancy from Heart. They're divorced now, Cameron Crowe.
Yeah.
And he also was with Zeppelin and all those guys, Eagles and everybody back in the day.
It, yeah.
So he knew exactly what the shit looked like. They had, if you're a clothing freak like me, the rock and roll clothing.
Yeah.
Fever Dog did a band promo shot. And it's identical to this Creedence photo. And they had the same fucking jackets that this guy Robert Warner made from East West Leathers. And I was just like, these guys nailed everything.
Yeah.
You know, the songs are great.
Yeah.
I even like Fever Dog. Fever!
It's great. It
like
holds
Bad
up
Company,
next
right?
to all those other songs that are in the soundtrack that are from
Fucking
real
really does.
bands that existed,
And that piece when Zeppelin comes on is just beautiful, man.
And Tiny Dancer turns the whole thing around. And that's a really great one.
The bass player in that band is a singer from Red House Painters, and his band's from San Francisco, and they're phenomenal. Cameron Crowe's such a fan of his band, he goes, "You're going to play bass in the band." Or
All right, then I'll give you another one. A band that's based on a real band in a movie is Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg as the lead singer.
Yeah.
And Stand Up and Shout.
Judas Priest.
Stand
right?
up and shout.
Yeah,
That is so good. And it's the guy from the lead singer from Steelheart.
Yeah.
Was the guy singing.
Oh, yeah.
Was the guy doing singing on the soundtrack. And Zach Wilde was a guitar player of that band.
He was. I love him in the studio. Like, oh no, man, that sounds rotten. Yeah, fuck, man. Well, it's great to have you on Soundtracks. Of course, we're going to get 1 million tweets. You missed this, you missed that. Yeah, we missed them because we're fucking doing this on the fly.
We missed a lot. We're sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize to Wayne's World and to Tank Girl and to all the movies that we missed.
Yeah. Now let's get into your fantasy rock league band.
I get to do this.
Mark Ellis's fantasy rock league band.
Do I even have to say who my first pick is?
You only get 4. A lot of people are punching in 5. It's a 4-piece band.
Okay, I was thinking if I had 5, then I would have thrown Malcolm Young in there as my rhythm guitarist.
Right.
But if I can only have 4,
Yep.
then the lead guitar is the easiest play on the face of the planet. Eddie Van Halen is
of
my
course.
lead
Yeah.
guitarist.
Yep.
And on bass, I have John Entwistle from The Who.
Wow.
Is going to be my bass player.
That's kind of cool.
And because my fantasy band can't just be Van Halen. I got to go outside Van Halen. Can only be one guy from each group.
But that's cool because the way Entwistle played He played a lot on the fretboard, and it's like Boris the Spider and all that, like boom, 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 boom.
It was like
boom,
another
boom,
lead
boom,
instrument, you
yeah,
know?
That's right.
And then it gets a little bit harder. I got Eddie and I got John in there, and now it gets a little bit tougher because on drums, I really, really want to take Ginger Baker from Cream, but that guy just does not get along with anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't want...
The band would break up.
I want good chemistry in my band. I want a guy that knows how to run a tight ship and knows when to back off. Neil Peart from Rush is my drummer.
Yeah, there you go. Because also you don't want Ginger Baker in there because he'll get Eddie on some heroin, and then your fucking band's done.
Yeah, Neil Peart ain't doing any partying. You know, he's just he's gonna write some lyrics for you. He's gonna play the shit out of the drums,
which is another guy I worship because he, when Rush is on tour, he gets the BMW GS 1200, which is the on-road, off-road bike, the adventure bike they call him, and he fucking just says, "I'll meet you at the next spot." Yeah. And he rides to the gigs. That guy's worth, hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever. Not that much, but he's worth a lot of money, and he rides the whole tour.
And I hear his music sounds really good on pinball machines. That's just a rumor I heard.
Fucking really did. Okay, so you got Neil on drums.
Mm-hmm. Eddie on guitar, John Entwistle on bass, and then the lead singer. It came down to four guys are competing for one spot.
Yeah.
And those competitors are Rod Stewart.
Oh, great. Faces era.
Brian Adams.
Brian Adams?
Yeah, that
Whoa,
raspy
cuts
voice
like a
is
knife?
so good. Summer 69.
Oh, man.
Freddie Mercury.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
But I got to go with the all-time great, the rasp, the king of rock, perhaps the greatest frontman to ever live, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
Wow.
Is my winner.
Okay, so your band is Steven Tyler vocals, Entwistle bass, Eddie guitar, and Rush Neil Peart.
Yes, sir.
What are they called?
They are called Catheter because they're all either dead or they're 60, but they can kick your ass in front of an arena, my friend.
Well, great to have you on. Where can we find you? Schmoes Knows?
Yeah, Schmoes Know. You got to take that S off there.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't know why that is.
Because it's easier. It just we made it as hard as possible.
Yeah,
but
Schmoes Knows.
But then the true fans will know that it's plural and singular.
Yeah, yeah.
Schmoes
Also,
Knows.
Schmoes Knows is like, it could be a nose on your face.
Schmoes Knows is going to be some competitor that springs
That's a
up.
secret cocaine term here on Let There Be Talk. Hey, man, Schmoes Knows. And then you just head up to the belly
Not
room.
before the podcast.
Yeah!
Let's do, you can go to, just subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's totally free. Just click the subscribe button at Schmoes Know, youtube.com/Schmoes Know. And you can follow us on Twitter at Schmoes Know, or you can follow me at 5150 Ellis.
Yep.
For obvious reasons. And the stand-up record is called Get to the Castle. And
it's on iTunes?
iTunes,
Dope.
Amazon, all that stuff, yeah.
One last thing before you go. Have you seen Dallas Buyers Club?
I have seen Dallas Buyers Club.
Now, that's a period piece. It's got to have some... Does it have some, like, that era of music, rock?
It takes place in Texas, so it's more country kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Because he's big into, riding...
He's a rodeo guy.
And rodeo guys and stuff like that.
Good
and,
film?
It's really, really good. It's
I heard it's
heartbreaking.
great.
The performances are fantastic. McConaughey and Jared Leto could both get nominated.
Jared Leto
for this movie.
was on fucking Fight Club. I forgot all about it till last week. When there I was. He was early on. He's the blonde guy. Like, let's do it, man.
Yeah, guy's a chameleon. He goes from that to Dallas Buyers Club. In between, he puts on a lot of weight to play Mark David Chapman.
Also, he
does
puts
everything.
out like 3 records, 30 Seconds to Mars.
That's
He's
right.
got a band.
That's right, yeah.
Good dude, man.
Living the dream, man.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Dude, it is great to be on the show.
You're going to be out with Cap. When's the Vegas?
Vegas is after Christmas. So you can go to, my website is themarkellis.com for tour dates. We got St. Louis, Cleveland, Virginia, Las Vegas, and then New Year's Eve in Qatar on a military base with my friend Eliza Schlesinger. So
wow.
Going to be a busy December.
I always figured if I had Cap on and asked him his dream band, he would just say like, well, Joe Montana on vocals. And then I would have Frank Marino, or you just name.
I'm going to make you name the quarterback.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not Frank Marino.
No, it's Dan Marino.
There you go.
Dan Marino on bass.
I'll tell you this: John Capriello would definitely have Tom Brady singing lead. He would not. There's no way he'd let anybody else sing lead than Mr. Tom Brady. For
That's
the Patriots,
hilarious.
so,
4 football guys for him, right?
That's right. That's
right.
right, man. Yeah. When we go on the road, we talk football. But when I'm with you, dude, it is all rock and roll and comedy, and I had a blast. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming by. There you go. Let There Be Talk. Mark Ellis. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Tweet to us your favorite soundtrack. You know what I mean? Thanks. See you later.